that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
So my next chart gets to the point you were making, Joe, about the actual impact of what the Republicans want to do on the deficit. So if you start here, what they call their limit, save, and grow plan, which is what is on the table right now in the White House, which, as we talked about last week, would cut 47% of spending from what we call discretionary programs.
Oh, my God.
Would save $4.8 trillion. But as you pointed out, we'd give back $3.5 trillion. And you end up with a deficit reduction of only
but you know, Steve, really quickly, that 4.8 trillion, if people are looking at home, that's not a real number. They're talking about absolutely savaging the government, savaging the ability for the government to do the most basic of things. That's not even a real number. They're just saying, let's just cut everything that the government does. And it's just absolute insanity.
47%, Joe, of all those discretionary programs, the Department of Agriculture, Labor, people who make your food and your water safe, all those budgets, 47%. And the real irony on the IRS is that the IRS actually makes the government money. If you cut the IRS budget, revenues actually, spending actually, and revenues go down because they're not doing as many audits, they're not policing.
I can't believe that, you need charts to explain to the American people that if you cut out 47% or half of discretionary spending in the United States, right, that you would end up having like nothing at all, no services at all, like no Federal Aviation Administration, no Food and Drug Administration, which the Supreme Court is, they're on it. I don't know if you saw this argument yesterday or heard about the argument yesterday for mifepristone at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, because, the Supreme Court punted back down to the Fifth Circuit and said, this Kaczmarek guy, he really effed this up. I mean, like bad. Like the people he gave access to the courts don't even have standing, meaning they weren't harmed in any way. And their entire case is maybe one day, somewhere, somehow, as a doctor, I would have to see a woman who had a bad reaction to mifepristone. That is their case, right? Maybe one day in the future, at some time, somewhere, after, 40 years of mifepristone being on the market worldwide, and 20 years of mifepristone being on the market in the United States. 5 million women used it, but maybe one day, someday, soon, or in the future, or in 20 years or 30 more years, I will somehow come across a woman who had some sort of a side effect from mifepristone that, damaged them. And they gave them access to the court. These people who have had no harm come to them. Doctors for hypocrites or something, Hippocratic hypocrites. Yeah, something like this. They had no standing, right? And then on top of having no standing because they weren't harmed, and, we found out that mifepristone is safer than, oh, God, I almost cursed. Tylenol came real close there. That mifepristone is safer than Viagra, than penicillin, than Tylenol, than, over-the-counter, cough medicine. They're saying, well, we need to send this back to the Fifth Circuit to clean up this mess on standing and on damages. Well, the Fifth Circuit decided yesterday that they would hear, the lawyer for the hypocrites that represent, doctors who don't want to take care of anybody ever, who might need health care related to a pregnancy gone bad. And they said, well, why this Judge Ho, what an unfortunate name when you're hearing, a reproductive case. Yes, Judge Ho actually said, why don't we question the FDA? How come we never do? Okay, and that was the extent of the questioning from the Fifth Circuit on the issue. They didn't touch the standing problem, and they certainly didn't touch the, years and years of mifepristone being safe and effective problem. They didn't touch that. They just said, well, why don't we question the FDA? Because really what they're after is doing away with the Food and Drug Administration, which is not a person. Okay, the Food and Drug Administration isn't an individual. It is a compilation of years and years, like 20, 40, 50, 60, 80 years of science. It's science, it's studies, ongoing studies, studies for new medicines, studies for old medicines, studies for effectiveness, studies for every food, every drug that comes on the market or is on the market, whether it's safe, efficacious, this kind of thing. And he's like, Judge Ho is saying, no, I don't think that we should trust the people that work each and every day on food safety and drug safety. And I don't think we should trust the people who pour through, scientific studies and data, double-blind studies. No, I think this belongs in the court. So you can see where the Food and Drug Administration is heading, especially in this budget, which is why I bring up the budget. The budget will cut everything. It will cut the Food and Drug Administration. It will cut Agriculture Department. It'll cut the Labor Department. It'll cut, obviously the Education Department, which, we're in a race to the bottom here for ignorance being, pretty much contagious across these states. I mean, this is crazy. This is madness, right?